Alright! Let's see, I had a lot of fun with this yesterday. I had too much fun with this yesterday, so we're just gonna do a new game. Hopefully my mods are all functional. If they're not, we'll see. People are discussing the possibility of co-op Noita. I would adore that, but it'll never happen. It'll just never... It just won't. There's no... I mean, okay, no. I will eat my words. They could potentially make it work. I can't imagine it would work well. You're a summoner witch. So what do I got? Toxic sludge immunity. None of these are actually poison related. Interesting. Well, do we want to try something different? Try hunter. I didn't do hunter. Okay, so what do we got? Summon arrow, summon decoy. That's a... It explodes. Oh yeah, that's gonna be fun. And yeah, my wand looks like a bow. That's actually really cute. I like that. I forgot how slow I am. Okay, so how do we get up over here? Looks like I might be able to get over here. Okay, I'm gonna just drop the decoy for the time being. Nope. Alright. Guess I gotta get another one. Eh. There we go. Okay, so the decoy does work. It just needs to be a lot closer. Okay, there we go. Back! Fine. I guess I'm gonna have to thirst witch this first. And not drown. I think they nerfed how much I can drink. Maybe. Maybe not. I don't know. I just remember I could thirst witch like a champion previously. Oh, that's perfect. Yeah, stay right there. And whatever. I'm just gonna explode. This didn't work. We gotta go find like a better explosive. The decoys are amusing, but not great. Also, not a big fan of the hunter, comparatively. They seem okay. But okay is not generally good enough for me. I prefer really stinking good, always, if I can manage it. Now, I'm actually immune to poison, I believe. So these guys might not actually be so bad. Fire, not so much, though. Fire is spooky. But yeah, don't have to worry about poison here. That's actually a really good feeling. And if I can become fire immune as well, oh, that's going to put me in a happy spot. Misadventures abound. Gold to me. Everything around here is burning. Actually, let's put myself out. At least a little bit. There we go. That's acid, though. Poison, acid seems to have about the same general effect here. There we go. What kind of weird horrors can I commit upon this world? The answer is a lot. But I should probably be at least a little bit less over-aggressive. I'm a little zealous when it comes to setting everything on fire and exploding things. Being as durable as I am helps a lot in terms of, like, being willing to just goof around. And I realize, like, this is not what Noita is about. Noita is very much supposed to be a slower, more, like, stressful game, but, like, I could never get into that. This is absolutely just, like, oh, what's a good example? I can't even think of it. Yeah, I care not for either of these wands. Gift from the gods. I'm not sure what this is doing. It doesn't seem to be working quite right. Zap. It always casts Zap, And this always casts double spell zap. So we're just electrified right now. What is this potion? Oh, invisible. So zap, it's not amazing. I can't even set things on fire with electricity. Also, are we listening to the Kingdom soundtrack? Yeah, we are. It's one of my go-to soundtracks to listen to when I'm, when I don't have anything better. Let's see, what is this? Magic bolts. Well, it chews through, let's see, can I... Well, it destroys the environment pretty quickly, so I guess that's fine. You know, I'm just gonna... I guess that didn't work. Okay. God, the physics in this game is actually, like, kind of stupidly good. Might seriously not set this stuff on fire. I'm... Alright. Guess I'm just gonna put myself out. So the Magic Bolts is actually probably one of the better, like, basic-ish spells I think I've ever seen. And this wand itself is pretty dang good. Because, yeah, I can just chew through wood, most stone, without really any issues. So let's take a look at this. I want to see this spell. And this wand. The wand has... That is actually one of the best wands I think I've ever seen. The only real issue with it is... It only has 2 slots, but as far as like a basic shooter type wand, pretty good. Works well with this. If we can find some kind of good modifier to go along with it, perfect. Just gonna wait for the fire to burn itself out a little bit. But like, look at that. That's super good. I guess I might as well just go digging for a little bit of gold while we wait. Not that I'm doing that poorly financially. I'm just gonna shoot the fire out. That's how this works, right? That's about the most redneck thing I've done in a while. Definitely have had a couple of relatives that were firearm owners that thought guns were kind of the mystical solve-all. And they most definitely weren't. I think that worked once. At a family reunion, it was like the entire extended family. And a couple of my more distant relatives that were like really big on hunting and stuff had brought their guns because country. And for whatever reason, there wasn't a bottle opener on hand. So of course, one of them, I don't actually know these people. Like, I'm apparently related to them by blood, but like, this is literally the only time I'd ever seen them. One of them had the brilliant idea of just trying to shoot the top off of his bottle, which meant going out to the edge of the wood and shooting and shattering this bottle in his hand. I think he had to go get stitches. I don't really remember. I was like maybe in 7th grade when this one all went down, and it was very much a like, man, what are you doing? What are you thinking? And then goodbye, because I more or less left very quickly. Darwin Award nominee. Yeah. And he was the one with the 3 kids, so I wouldn't say Darwin Award at that point. He took himself, maybe took himself out of the gene pool too late, but maybe his kids are better. I don't know. It's weird to think about some of these things. Even if it had worked, there would have been glass inside the bottle. Yep. Idiots reproduce too quickly. Yeah, I feel kind of bad because, like, technically I'm sort of the product of that kind of situation. Sort of. Not really so much my family. Rhinestone. Oh, neat. I think I'm going to ignore it, though. But, like, at least on my dad's side, it was definitely, like, a had kids far too young situation, and it worked out mostly. That side of the family is mostly okay. Very poor. But otherwise, I've seen and heard of worse. From the, not my dad's side of the family, I guess. Or my dad's side of the family, but the extended ones? I don't know. Okay, I'm just going to slowly mine through this. Good spell. Want to find a modifier that makes it so... I know there's one modifier that really cranks up the ability to, wow. Fireworks. That really cranks up the ability to, like, chew through the environment. I think that would be the modifier I'd want to pick up for this thing if I can. What's Wander's fourth wand? It's this. It's not bad. It's just... It's not nearly as good as this thing. Because this thing, it might not be the fastest. But it's like a surefire way of just traversing the world without limitations. Mostly. Okay. Anything else over here? Oh, that was a misadventure. Fortunately, I don't think that's gonna work. Okay. Well, do we go back up? Oh, Ferg. Ferg! There we go. Hell yeah. Wander, do your parents know that you stream and make videos for a living? What do they think about it? Yeah, they've pretty much known since the beginning. After 6 years, it would be incredibly hard for me to hide this from them, and they would probably get really weirded out if I was trying to hide it from them as well. It's like, so Wander, what are you doing for a living? You know, did you manage to get an art job? Oh, you know, I just do this or that. And, like, after a certain point, they'd be like, are you dealing drugs? Like, you moved out to Oregon for a reason. But no, they've known since the beginning. I lived in my parents' basement for, geez, what was it? The latter half of 2014? I moved back home in, I think it was September 2014, and then I didn't move out for another 2 years. And more or less the entire time I was just making YouTube videos. For the longest time, they thought it was just a hobby, and there was definitely kind of that, like, so when are you gonna, like, get a real job and stop doing this sort of thing? And then one day I sat my mother down and was more or less just like, here's my analytics, here's how much, like, time and energy people are putting into the content that I am creating. And that was the last conversation we ever had where my mother questioned whether or not I was making proper life choices. Now it's boring stuff like investing and retirement plans and health insurance. But no, I kind of lucked out on that one. Originally, my mother has always been a little harder on me. My dad, I think my dad backed her up. But my mother was always the one that was just like, you know, I don't really approve of what you're doing. I'll support you anyway, but I'm definitely going to give you a hard time about it. And that definitely got frustrating. There were periods of time where I was, like, applying for jobs. And I had, like, 50 job applications out in the wild because that's how it just works nowadays. And my mother would be mad because I wasn't putting in 70 or something like that. It's like, let me relax for a little bit, because I don't know what applying for minimum wage is like nowadays. But when I was a teenager, specifically, it was go online, fill out this really shitty personality test form with, like, nearly 100 questions. A lot of them are repeats, especially between companies. Like, applying at a movie theater and a grocery store and Best Buy would all have the same app system. And you couldn't just, like, preset all of these answers and just be like, yeah, this is who I am. It was very much like you have to put in the same answers every single time. And just, like, doing that for weeks straight was miserable. All about the same. You still use the same test. Do they at least let you share your answers between, or no? You still very much have to just input it again and again. But, so, like, I definitely remember getting into a shouting match with my mother. Very specifically over, like, how I wasn't doing enough to get a job, and me being very much like, I am doing about the best that I can without losing my mind here. Alright, I'm just gonna pull these out. I'm curious to see what happens if I combine these two wands together. Because I'm not actually sure if they combine their traits, or if it just gives me a new one. Summon Lucky Knife. Oh, there it is. So it doesn't look like they combine their traits at all. Cast 1. Always casts Dynamite. Yeah, Lucky Knife does not look great. Let's test this. Maybe away from this. Oh. I think I'm going to stay away from that wand. Just generally. For good reasons. But yeah, so it was just definitely a couple of, like, fights over the years of, like, you're not doing enough to actually, you know, get a job, and you need to try harder. And at least my mother was not one of the ones that was like, just walk in with the application. You know, then they'll actually pay attention to you. They like go-getters, and it's like, no, they don't. I did that once, and it was so embarrassing to be told, yeah, online reviews only. And having to be like, yeah, and then going home and, you know, having kind of the conversation about, like, that's just not how this works anymore. That tree just disappeared. But yeah, so the moment I think what did it, specifically YouTube metric wise for me, was showing my mother how many, like, hours per month people put into, like, watching my channel, and it being like somewhere around her whole lifetime per month spent watching my videos, which, like, that's a very real statistic that I think a lot of people just don't immediately, like, process. You know, you're kind of like, oh, you got X amount of views on YouTube. That's an impressive number. But then you translate that into, like, human time, and it's just like, oh, ow. Wow. Okay, so acid is not poison. Acid hurts a lot more. Good to know. I'm very glad I don't have to do any more job applications. And I'm pretty sure if I had to do a job application nowadays, it would be a wildly different experience. As I would probably be like, hi, anybody want a community manager and or marketing specialist? Because, boy, I'm good at those things. Also artist, but I feel like community manager would be an easier, more fulfilling job immediately. And then I just do the art stuff as kind of a side gig still. I need to get, like, an acid spray. Just delete stuff. So the other question that was asked kind of is in relation to this was, oh, right. Boom. Yeah, the problem is that this has a... If I just gave it a really quick cast spell, would it fire more often? Not really. Travesty. Anyway, we've destroyed everything. Let's look around a little bit. Art would be a cool thing to have for marketing. Oh yeah, I would be a very good, like... I mean, to some small degree, I'd be perfect for a small indie studio that doesn't have their own marketing team or community manager. And, I mean, honestly, if I were to lose my job, I'd probably, like, lose my job. If streaming were to randomly die for me, I'd probably apply for, like, let's say Raw Fury or something. One of those PR studios that I've already got a very good working relationship with, and I could just be like, so, you need more of you? And they'd be like, yeah, probably. But chances are, the entirety of, like, games marketing is going to look wildly different 10 years from now. I mean, before we even started this stream, we were kind of talking about how reviews are relevant, and I don't think that's true. I think reviews are still very relevant. But I think games marketing has changed so drastically over the past 10 years, largely because of social media influencers in this manner. What is that? Concentrated mana? I don't even know what concentrated mana... Oh, you gain mana back faster. Cool. Like, I think the difference with reviews not being important is they're just not as important anymore. Because originally, a review is oftentimes, like a review, traditional games media was often the only way you ever heard about a game, period. Nowadays, there's so many different vectors for marketing that it actually can be quite a lot of different things that will lead you to a game. And so, yeah, one of the most common is streamers and YouTubers, or just ads, or a bunch of other things. But no, I would never make the bold-faced claim that that reviews are relevant now. In fact, I'd say they're still very relevant. You just have to take them with more of a grain of salt. I mean, if they were irrelevant, Angry Centaur Gaming would be out of a job. That guy does an absolutely lovely job. If I was better at scripting stuff and then editing, I'd probably actually get into that kind of thing. I still would like to, it's just a matter of time. My thing is, I'd rather put more of my effort into, like, Dungeons & Dragons footage. Or, like, weird stuff. Like, I really want to do a video at some point talking about my, like, forays into milk alternatives. I'm a huge milk drinker, or at least I used to be. And then one day, last month, we were in Whole Foods, and I saw oat milk, and I'm just like, what the hell is this? Let's give this a go. And it turns out I like oat milk a hell of a lot more than I actually like regular milk, because oat milk doesn't rot nearly as fast. And that's kind of huge for me, because I don't drink milk that fast. I love drinking it, I just don't like it drinking it that fast. And so now we've started looking to plant alternatives that, like, you know, normally I just kind of always ignored, or, like, poo-pooed away. And yeah, veggie burgers. Oh boy, Shell really got me on the veggie burger kick. Let's see, we're gonna do some D&D art tonight. I would like to, yes. I need to finish up the initial town, finish up vectoring some monsters, maybe do some more. And just get a look. That's a big missile. These look like lightsabers. I'm gonna look at that in a second. What's this one? It's okay. I like the bouncy spell. But what is this thing? Purchase nuke. Yes. And I'm gonna grab the lightsaber wand in favor of bomb wand, because I don't think bomb wand's very good. Both of these I'm probably just gonna toss. Okay, what are these? Luminous drill. Oh. Let's get rid of double scatter spell. Okay, that should be fun. Hypercasting, concentrated spells, or bark skin. Hypercasting. Projectiles move at hyperspeed. Oh, boy. I don't think the drill's working the way I want it to. But that's okay. It doesn't... I don't really need it to. Well, this is going to be kind of fun. Unfortunately, I do not have a mod pack set up for this quite yet. We'll get there. Maybe I should not hang out directly next to this. That's okay. Concentrated spells. So, lower spread, push you back way more. That's probably fine. Kickback is a bit of an issue, though. We'll see how it goes. Currently, I am Snipe Witch. I am actually really digging that. That's cool. I'm sorry, is your character Megamine? Yeah. You got a problem with my massive raging weebness? I just think this character sprite looks a hell of a lot better than the standard. And having a snipe wand is cool. I'm gonna have to try this with some other things that are traditionally fairly short range. I'm also going to be using the kickback here, specifically to fly, I guess. I mean, I already fly, but fly harder. That's a gold bomb? I don't... Ow. Ow. Ooh, everything is on fire. Let's just hang out up here for at least a smidgel. I have no issues with the character. You're just thrown out a little bit. I know. I just really enjoy being randomly, like, extremely indignant about being an anime fan. When I was in high school, I was definitely, like, one of the only people in my school that was big on, like, anime, or even, like, particularly big nerd culture. It was more like, how would I describe it? My high school is much more like the nerdy kids were the traditionally nerdy sense, you know, the ones that were big on, like, books and reading and maybe almost classical nerds, because they were really big on, like, theater and, yeah, I guess the midpoint between being theater kids and nerds, and so they were, like, really big on Shakespeare and acting, and, I mean, I guess Dr. Horrible was definitely, like, that was pretty nerdy stuff. But not a whole lot on the anime or the video gaming front. Like, I knew one group of guys that played video games. One. The other groups didn't even touch them or, like, exclusively played Call of Duty. And, like, no one that I knew played Dungeons and Dragons at all. I had to, like, find younger kids when I was a kid, I guess, to play D&D with. That came out really strange, but, I mean, that's how it works, I guess. Nowadays, I'm playing D&D with the older kids. And I'm cool with that. I think he killed himself? Ow. Okay. Yeah, he killed himself with his own bomb. I love it when that happens. Dr. Horrible was huge when I was in college with the group you were in. Yeah, it was... I never got around to it. It just didn't really, like, strike me as good. I think it's one of those where content fatigue is something that I suffer from really badly. Where... Maybe not content fatigue. Enthusiasm fatigue would be the better description. Where if I know somebody that's really passionate about a thing, no matter what it is, I will be less passionate about it. So, I actually had... I mean, not even this same vein. I've had a number of people specifically demanding more Noita. And, not just Noita. More Noita. More Wizard of Legend. And, like, yelling at me about it. Or, you know, nonstop talking to me about it. And it was one of those where I actually found myself feeling... I generally always feel considerably less interested in something the more people, like, bother me about it. And there's absolutely, like, a psychological term for this. The last time I was kind of talking about it, but, like... Shall we keep combining wands? We keep getting really interesting wands every single time I do, so I might as well. That wand's okay. This wand is less good. Honestly, I don't care for this wand. Or the spells on it. We want that one, actually. We're gonna get rid of this. I'm throwing them too far. I guess if I throw them directly upwards, maybe that'll do the trick. Aha! Okay, there we go. Okay, now that I've been properly fooded, we now have this spell. Above and below, freezing charge. I'm gonna try that. And we also have glitter bombs. It seems decidedly okay. It's not really doing the above and below thing. Maybe I have to just move that closer. No, it's still not doing it. Anyway. I want... Yeah, so this does freezing damage now. Which is actually really cool. Oh, hey! The health drops. That was a mod that I wasn't sure if it was functional. It is. Oh, man. Adding the ice effect to this spell is perfect. Because, yeah, it knocks them out of the air, and I actually hit a dude with another frozen dude. That's kind of cool. I like that a lot. Let's see. There's something down here. Not for long, though. See, ice nuke sounds fun. Ice nuke sounds terrifying. I need explosion resistance before I equip the nuke. That said, if I can get explosion resistance, whoo boy, you better bet I'm throwing that on and we're nuking the planet. It's like Hack the Planet, but considerably less well, considerably less Angelina Jolie and a little bit more war games. I guess the other thing I could check would actually to see how much. Yeah, it's 1,000 damage. I'm gonna need a lot of HP if I'm gonna want to do that. Yeah, by doing the freezing thing, it looks like I've like quadrupled my damage. War games without the tic-tac-toe. I'm just imagining a modern version of war games, and the kid just gets the computer hooked on like Slay the Spire and Noita, and it's just like, I have realized that the winning move is blah blah blah, and it just keeps going, and it's just like an absolute backseat gamer nerd. And they're like, so what about the nukes? And it's like, I am above those things, and just like everybody just kind of packs up and goes home. It's like, that should we worry about this? Nah, it'll probably be fine. It might not be quite as good at digging anymore. Maybe. Ah! Might not be is definitely a bit on the conditional side. Hello. Okay. Another rock spell. Short cast delay. Short recharge time. Bonus damage. Ow. Oh, no, I didn't take the damage there. Hey, max health. That's cool. I can just delete water by turning it into ice and then shooting it. Which is, I guess, a little confusing, but that's okay. War Games was an amazing movie. Yeah, but I can't help but feel it's a little unreasonable nowadays. Though, the plot device of having tic-tac-toe being, like, the crux of everything, the solution, was kind of genius. Okay, there's not actually... I don't think there's anything in there. I will always blow up that for reasons. Because I can. Treasure chest has... nuclear tip. Oh no. Stand back. Mana drain 200. 1 use remaining. I'm assuming that's fairly similar to what we had before. Oh, right, we had an anvil to combine things, and I, like, totally forgot to actually, utilize that. It was over here somewhere. I knew I needed, like, one more wand to actually make use of it. Here it is. Okay, let's see. So this one does have a bunch of explosives, which is kind of nice. This one's kind of bad. I'm not actually... I don't really even care about glitter bombs. They might be okay. Yep. Hold up. Okay, definitely want damage plus. Octagon formation might be kind of cool, but otherwise, wands 3 and 4 can probably go away. I kind of wish this would actually combine the effects of different wands, so you could just make a super wand. Okay, so... Capacity 9, shuffle yes. Fairly quick. Giant magic missile. Wow. Okay. That's a little concerning. Yeah, so we got a boomstick. It's a little bit on the expensive side of things. But when has that stopped me? Let's see. Did I see an aura? No, I didn't see any auras. I'm trying to get as much health as possible before we make it to the next biome. I don't know. It's just... I want to be tank man. And going full tank here seems like the smartest general idea. I'm digging this wand so far. What was I standing on? I think I was standing on the frozen chunk of a dead creature. Which is not something I was really expecting would happen, but hey, you know what? Whatever. Whoops. Ow. I think I landed that on my head. There we go. Give me money. Whoops. I guess I don't actually need to really collect money here. Hello.